What's up, y'all? It's that Sports Kid here with my 2023 USC Trojan season predictions. Let's get into it. Last year, Southern Cal went 11-3 and made appearances in the Pac-12 championship game and the Cotton Bowl. They didn't win either of those, but they had a fantastic regular season record of 11-1. This season, their win total over/under odds are currently at 9.5. So between 9 and 10 wins is what odds makers are thinking. Many players return to this team. 8 on offense, 9 on defense. Those are just starters. There are other players behind them that return as well. 4 players from USC were drafted in this past NFL draft. The recruiting this offseason was very good. They pulled in a top 10 class, and I believe, I might not be right, don't quote me on this, I believe it was the #1 class in the Pac-12. Transfer rank was also phenomenal, top 5 transfer class. Their recruiting class consisted of 3 5-stars, 11 4-stars, and 8 3-stars. Those 3 5-stars were a wide receiver from Nevada, quarterback from California, and a tight end from Arizona. All of those guys are top 20 players. Phenomenal. I don't think any of them are going to be starting this year. I just had to check. But they eventually will. So good for them. Transfer class was phenomenal. 9 4-stars and 6 3-stars. 11 of those 15 players are going to be starters. I threw up all 3 of these defensive linemen because all of them are going to be starters. This is a completely new defensive line, all pulled in through the transfer portal. Biggest transfer portal get was Bear Alexander from Georgia. Then they also brought in Anthony Lucas from Texas A&M. And then Kion Bars, a defensive lineman from Arizona. Pretty good players. Will they do well together? I don't know. On paper, it should be a very good, strong position. My personal ratings for this team are very high. This is definitely a Pac-12 championship contender, definitely a playoff contender, and definitely a national championship contender. 9 on offense. Fantastic. Their offensive line is the only thing holding them back, and it's really not even that bad. It's actually pretty good. Probably a top 20 offensive line in the country. Fantastic offense. Defense, not as great as the offense, but it will still be a very strong, on paper, it should still be a very strong defense, especially in the Pac-12 with all of their phenomenal offenses. This defense should be a big factor in their season. Here we go. Here's the schedule. Start out against San Jose State. Finish it out against UCLA. Schedule difficulty is a B, so pretty strong schedule. They play all the big Pac-12 teams. First game against SJSU should be a big win. Same for Nevada. Difficult to see Nevada on there because their logo is a dark blue. Both of those games are against Mountain West Conference teams. The Mountain West is basically a worse version of the Pac-12. USC should win those with ease. Next up, we have Stanford, who I think is going to be fighting to be the worst. Not even fighting, they'll just find themselves in the position of being the worst Power 5 school this season and potentially the worst team in college football. So Southern Cal should get a big win in that game. Then they travel to Tempe to play Arizona State and the Sun Devils. ASU brought in a ton of transfers, and they could be decent. They could make it to a bowl game with a first-year head coach. Either way, I still think USC should just run through them. Maybe a bit of a closer win because the first 3 teams were just garbage. On the road, first road game of the season, could be a little bit closer. Should still be a solid win for the Trojans. Next, we have I was going to say California. They are later on the schedule. Colorado on the road in Boulder. I think this should be another close-ish win. I don't think Deion Sanders' new squad is going to be fantastic or even make a bowl game this season. So USC should get a win there in Boulder. And at this point in the season, it won't be snowing yet, so it's another plus for USC. Next up, we have Arizona Wildcats. Close win. Arizona is definitely getting better. They went 5-7 last year. Another sort of mid to bad Pac-12 team. Although they're not bad, they're bad in comparison to all the current good teams in the Pac-12. USC should get another big win against the Wildcats. Next up, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and the Trojans travel all the way out to South Bend to play this team, who I think should be pretty decent, at least on paper. Although you think that about Notre Dame every year pretty much, and it's rare that it happens. First game that is going to be in the toss-up category. Notre Dame is a better program on paper this year, and I think they could put up a fight in this game against USC and the reigning Heisman champion. A rivalry game. I think it's the first one on the schedule. I'm not sure who currently holds the streak. I'm pretty sure it's USC. Sorry, rambling, getting distracted. Here we go, Utah. Oh, by the way, this is a extremely backloaded schedule. The only game that USC is sort of guaranteed to win in is against Cal. Of the last 7 games, 5, 6, I can't count. Of the last 6 games, the only guaranteed win really is Cal, and every other team is really fighting probably for a New Year's 6 bowl spot, and most of them are conference championship contenders. Next, we have Utah, the reigning back-to-back Pac-12 champions. These two teams are meeting. I think they play every year in the regular season. This year it is in LA at the Coliseum. Last year, Utah beat USC in their only regular season loss, and then beat them again in the Pac-12 championship game. I'm still thinking that Utah is going to be a really good team. They might take a step back, although I'm not sure. They do still have Cam Rising. Definitely going to be a competitive game, but it will also probably be a revenge game for USC. Not sure how it'll shake out. Definitely sort of a toss-up game. Should be interesting. Next, we have Cal. Good old Cal. They suck. Let's be honest. This is a road game for USC, and Cal's also coming off of a bye week. So those are two things that are in Cal's favor. Although I don't think USC is gonna give them much of a chance. Cal's just hot garbage, honestly, and USC should be a big victory. Finish out the season against 3 of the best teams in the conference: Washington, Oregon, and UCLA. Game, what would it be, 9? Yeah, game 9 is against Washington in LA. I'm going to say it's a toss-up. Washington with Michael Penix Jr. They're pretty good. They were last year. Their record didn't quite reflect that, I don't think. Definitely looking for improvement from them. And they could definitely put up a good fight. But definitely they could win. Now we have probably, well, maybe not, definitely contending for the most difficult game of the season. On the road in Eugene, Oregon. I could say it's a close loss, but I won't. I'll keep it fair. I think USC does have a chance here. It's really difficult to play in Eugene. They have a phenomenal atmosphere in Autzen Stadium. And Oregon just has a good team right now. So I'm saying they're going to keep it a toss-up. Finally, we close out the season against UCLA. If you watched my UCLA video yesterday, I talked about them. And I am thinking, you could probably say it's a close win, but I am going with another toss-up to finish out the season. I think UCLA has a chance. Final game of the season, pushing for a better bowl bid. USC also pushing to maybe keep their playoff race alive. Yeah, very backloaded schedule, and they play all the best Pac-12 teams. 5 toss-up games. 3 of them are at home, though, so a little bit of an advantage there. I am going to call for a 10-2 season for USC. I could see 9-3. I could see 11-1. And depending on how they play, they could definitely go 12-0. It would be difficult, but I think they could do it. Of course, 4 wins over the SJSU, Nevada, Stanford, and Cal. And then another 3 wins over Arizona State, Colorado, and Arizona for 7 wins. And then I think they get at least 3 wins against these toss-up teams. I would say probably UCLA, Washington, and Notre Dame. Those are my 3 picks. If they're gonna win, if they're going to get up to 10 wins, those are my 3 picks for them to beat in that toss-up category. Utah, really difficult team to play. They've been great over the past couple years. Yeah. Oregon, another team, they're just really good. Washington's getting there. And all these teams are going to have, well, not all of them. USC, Notre Dame, Utah, Washington, and Oregon are all going to have NFL quarterbacks. I assume they're all going to head to the draft. I could see Cam Rising staying another year. I don't think he really has a reason to, but this quarterback class is going to be pretty stacked. So I could see him staying, but maybe not. Pretty strong season. I'm calling it 10-2. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I don't know why you've watched to the end. If you have and you liked this, make sure to like and subscribe. And until the next one, peace.